Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blackford Sports Network. I wanted to stop in before we get our next guest and just say a big thank you to all of our sponsors. A lot of you helped out during or before the whole coronavirus thing kicked in, and I want to give a big thanks to everyone. Dave's Car Corner, obviously, one of my favorite uh, for a while now, as most of you could tell. I Associates of Hartford City have done a lot. Can't wait to finally get a recorded commercial for them starting next year, hopefully for football season. Huggins Auto Sales, the AmVets, as always, another one that I love dearly. Captured by Christy. If you've not gotten a hold of Christy by now, you need to. She's doing some doorsteps or some doorstep photo sessions that actually kind of cool. One of the new ones, Allie Norton, the Ossian Family Eye Care. She's accepting patients at the Ossian Family Eye Care on Monday and Thursdays. Every other day she's in Fort Wayne, but she doesn't like to see new patients up there in Fort Wayne. But give her a call, 260-622-4000. CMA, Claim Management Adjusters. The Bodies, Bruce and Kathleen, sent me a check so that we could get regionals. They were actually wanting to host a watch party, but obviously things didn't work out the way we wanted them to with the COVID-19. And then Darren Coons dropped some cash off at the house, and greatly appreciate that as well. And we will put that money to good use coming up for football season, and then again for basketball season for next year as well, going into softball and baseball. So can't wait to get next year started. We've got some really good interviews coming up in the pipeline, but tonight, just sit tight, and we're going to have one of the motivators of Blackford sports coming up here real soon. All right, everybody, as promised, here we are with the one and only, the big man, Dalton Willmann. And how's it going, buddy?
It's going good, Steve. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Good deal, good deal. So how have you been handling this whole coronavirus and COVID and all that?
Yeah, this madness, it hasn't been easy, that's for sure. Mostly I've just been trying to keep the normal routine that I had before this whole thing started. So, still waking up at the same time, still waking up at 4:04 every morning. Me and a couple of my buddies moved most of the gym equipment into a undisclosed location in somebody's basement so we can still work out there. And then after that's over, luckily it's springtime, so I've been mowing yards and washing and detailing cars, so that's about it.
Yeah, I noticed. I seen you on Facebook. You've got a bunch of cars lined up to be detailed.
Yeah, that's something Patty Montgomery introduced me to, and I really enjoy it. And Facebook, the great marketing tool that it is, I've been utilizing that.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So you want to get into how much that costs for you to detail somebody's car? Or do you want to do that after we're done so that I can have you do my Jeep?
We can do that after we're done. That sounds good to me.
All right, man. I also have a buddy that wants to get his car detailed. So.
All right, yeah, that sounds good to me. Send him my way.
All right. Well, I think he said he tried to request you as a friend on Facebook. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But so Patty Montgomery, wife to Dave Montgomery of Dave's Car Corner, got you into detailing cars.
Yeah, she for the longest time, she's always been detailing his.
Yeah.
And, last year she's kind of showed me, before I'd been like washing them and stuff. But last year she really showed me the tricks with like different types of waxes, shampooed the seats, scrubbing things out. She really helped me get into it, make them shine.
Right on. So you already answered one of my very first questions, which was, how are you maintaining that bulk that you've got going on?
Yeah,
So
there's
I
been a
don't want
lot
to
of
get into
lifting
too
going
much
on.
detail of your illegal motions here
Well, hey,
during a
it's
stay
not
at home.
it's it's not all illegal. I'll tell you that. I've been doing I've been working out twice a day because obviously everybody has time right now. So we
Right.
do the one legal illegal thing. It's somewhere along the lines in the morning, but
Hey, as
then at my
long as
house.
you're washing your hands, man,
Oh yeah, and we stay 6 feet apart. We sanitize everything, so we're
then you're
staying
good to
good. And
go.
then, yeah, and then like the other workout. Luckily, at my house, we purchased before this whole thing happened. We got like a 2.5 through 25 pound dumbbell set, and I've been able to use that. We bought a bunch of bands, an ab wheel, medicine ball, so we got some good stuff there that I've been utilizing too.
So you're working out at home and with your buddies, plus you're doing your detailing and you're mowing yards.
Yeah,
All
yeah. I've
while
always been, I've always been a schedule oriented and OCD type of guy. So doing all that kind of helps keep me sane.
all while maintaining your excellent grade point average that you have.
Yeah, yeah. The online school is interesting for sure. It's not too hard.
So I've noticed that with both of my kids at home. They spend about I don't know, a fraction of the time as they used to on schoolwork. So it's actually kind of interesting, and I know that one of them just told me they have to do an essay for their finals. So do you have anything like that coming up in school?
Yeah. So Peyton and I have some of the similar classes together, and I think for English we both have essays for finals. And other than that, it's been pretty easy. It's been like assignment, do this, do that. But then for the finals now, it's kind of like, hey, you're gonna have to actually work. Here's 6 to 8 page essay, and you got to type it. So I'm not saying I do this, but you can't just go online and look up, questions 18 through 39 in this book and stuff anymore. You got to actually take time and type it out.
That's funny because we were just talking last night about plagiarism and how easy it is to figure out if somebody has plagiarized somebody off the internet.
Oh
Because all you
yeah.
have to do is take a sentence, copy it, and paste it into the Google search engine, and it'll tell you if it was taken directly from somebody else's paper.
Yeah, so that's kind of the whole thing where like if you're going to try and cheat on these final papers, they're going to let the other stuff go, but they'll catch you on this.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely catch you on the plagiarism. So after, let's not get into after high school. Let's get into like what was your favorite moment of your high school, your 4 years in high school? It can be sports related or it can be just high school in general, hanging out with friends, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can I think it's going to be people could guess it. It's going to be a pretty easy one, but I don't think you can replicate winning that sectional title a month and a half ago. You can't beat that at number one. Just
Right.
the feeling of, working from, all of us went from 123, 122 our freshman year to, getting to that point, 21-5, playing a great game against Tipton, getting to cut down the nets. It was kind of like, all right, this is what we worked for. And it was just, I've never felt anything more rewarding than that.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to somebody here recently. I think I was talking to Russ on the last interview, and I told him, and he agreed that we both thought you guys had an opportunity, a real shot at winning regionals in Lapel. What do you think your chances of, how do you think you guys matched up between Wapahani and some of the other schools down there?
Yeah, so we would have played Rochester in that first game. And I thought we had a great week of practice leading up to that before everything got shut down. And we knew what their strengths were, what their weaknesses were. And we felt like we were going to be able to take away their their strengths pretty easily. So we weren't underestimating them, but we felt like we had a pretty good shot to get that game pretty handily. And then against Wapahani, if they would have won their game, which we were thinking they probably would, we
Right.
felt like we had to stop. We felt like we had to stop two players, and then we'd win that game. So
That
I think
sounds.
we
Go ahead.
oh yeah we felt like we probably had the best chance to win that regional out of all the teams.
We were, man, dude. I'm telling you, we were all excited. Couldn't wait to to see that game go down because we felt like you guys were going to bring Blackford their first basketball regional. So
yeah, and that's what kills me. That's what we wanted to do. That's what we talked about. Dreamed about the whole year since Coach Hoover got here. That first regional, and then it's just like we finally got there, and then just pulled the rug right out from underneath us.
They sure did. There was a lot of conspiracies going on that IHSAA did not want Blackford to win a state title, so that's why they pulled the plug so early.
I could see that. I think the IHSAA is at the root of this whole coronavirus thing, and I just want some answers from Bobby Cox about it.
It was. You think he went to China and started it, planted it in their Wuhan meat factory or whatever it was?
Yeah, I think he's the one that ordered the roasted bat with extra peppers and ate it. Started this whole thing.
So you don't think it's a conspiracy theory that this came out of the Chinese laboratory that's over there? You think Bobby Cox straight took it over there and then just left it for those guys to fend for themselves? I like that.
So I do. I think he'd been watching us all year, and he just slowly had enough, and he recognized what we were about to do, and he couldn't wait any longer. So, around December, that's when he finally made his move.
He knew it. It was coming. Now,
yeah.
Help me out here. Weren't you a part of the sectional baseball championship your freshman year?
Yeah, I was on the roster for that.
That's what I thought. You got the patch and the letter and everything for that, right? So what's it like? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, I pinch ran a few times, so that was a lot of fun. And if it wasn't for us winning that sectional basketball championship, that baseball sectional championship was a lot of fun too. It's just, it was 3 years ago, so the memories aren't quite as fresh, and it's kind of dwindled away.
Well, let me refresh your memory. You guys took that one into extra innings, and I'm pretty sure it was Taylor ran out of pitching, but Blackford still had enough pitching to win that game, and we scored. I want to say it was like 1-0 or 2-0 to win that game. And before the very next year, I think is when Jerry came into Blackford, right?
Uh-huh.
So it would have been your sophomore year. But you guys, for that baseball sectional, actually brought in a bigger fan base than you did for basketball and football that year.
Yeah, that was.
Do you remember that?
I do, and I specifically remember the sectional championship game. I've never seen that many people out of the baseball game before. I mean, you could barely see the woods because there were so many people there.
Yeah, and they were standing, and the former cheerleader, I think she's one of the cheerleading coaches now, but she had a knee brace on. Was it Goodspeed?
Yeah.
Was it Sydney Goodspeed?
Yeah, I think it's Sydney.
It was one of the Goodspeeds, but she was running up and down with that knee brace on, the knee immobilizer, getting the fans cheering and, doing the cheerleading chants. It was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. So
it was, and I remember being in the dugout just going nuts that game. That was something really cool.
That was a fun year, and it's just too bad that you guys weren't able to pull it together for the last 2 years. But really thought you guys had a chance of going at that again this year. But my understanding is that you were not going to play baseball this year. You're going to focus on track.
Yeah. I decided I wanted to try something new, so I was going to give running and throwing and track a shot this year.
So what were you going to run and throw in track? Were you going to run the long distance, or were you going to run some sprints?
I was going to do the long distance sprint, as they call it. So I was going to do the 400, and then I was going to throw shot put and discus, and then do the 4x4 as well.
Yeah, you would have been great at the shot put and the discus. I can only imagine that discus not coming down after you threw it.
Yeah, that's something I was really looking forward to, and I just started working on it. I worked on it a few times with a guy that used to do it in high school, and then they pulled the plug on it, so it was over before it started.
All right, so let me ask you, how far were you throwing the discus with the former high school student?
I could not tell you. We didn't even get to the throwing part, If I
Oh,
can tell you that, we worked on grip, and I had to figure out how to move my feet the right way with
yeah,
the shot put and discus. It's something I wasn't used to, so we hadn't even
yeah.
thrown yet.
Those are a couple of crazy athletics events that you don't think there's much to throwing a disc or
No,
throwing a
you
big
don't.
heavy ball, but when it comes down to it, I actually did it in like the 7th or the 8th grade, and I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah,
So, but
there's so much, lower body movement, core strength, upper body strength. There's such a big strategy behind it.
yeah, exactly. I think that would have been a lot of fun for you. I can just see you pumping everybody up to do their specific events, plus doing yours, and I can just see you throwing a disc, 80 or 90 feet or whatever it is, and just giving one of those.
Yeah, I would have been the energizer guy out there. Probably would have got some weird looks as well. Like, why is that guy doing that out here at the track meet, not a basketball game? But it is what it is.
Hey, that's your personality. It always has been. You've always been
Mhm.
that motivator out on the court, out on the baseball field, on the football field, the whole bit. So I probably would have come over and watched you just to see how you would react or how you would do in those situations. Because I think it would just be just a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, thanks. I thought it would have been a lot of fun too, just to see my teammates succeed, and it's something different that I've never done before.
Right. Yeah. So with that, what's going on for college? I know you've already been accepted somewhere, right?
Yeah, I got accepted to Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis.
All right, and that's in Indianapolis, the Jaguars, right?
Right. Yeah.
Are you going to be playing any sports for them?
No, I'm not gonna do any sports down there.
No. So what are you going to college for?
So I recently got accepted into their Kelly School of Business. So I'm hoping to take off on the track towards sports marketing as a major, and then minor in management.
All right, all right. So what exactly is sports marketing?
So there's a lot of different internships you can do with it. You can get in with pro teams, or brands like Nike, Adidas, sportswear, stuff like that. And they say, okay, we have X product. We need to come up with an idea for like the release. So like, how big of a release are we going to make it? Where are we going to advertise at? How are we going to advertise it? Stuff like that. So I was going to learn how to take this piece of paper and how to market it to where, people want to spend $20 on it. That's what I was going to learn.
All right. So um, you are you wanting to get in more with the team aspect or like the apparel Nike aspect?
I'd be happy with either one.
You would
I'm
be
not picky.
perfect. You would be perfect for a Nike or an Adidas or something like that because I already see that you have a really organized hat collection behind you.
Yeah.
And I've I believe your sister was talking last year about your shoe collection, and I've
Mhm.
heard rumors about your shoe collection needing a room of their own.
Yeah, so of course Sydney had to bring that up, but there is there is too many shoes to be in one single room. So they're all in their own boxes and display cases in a separate room now.
Uh-huh.
I ran out of
Okay.
I ran out of room in my room.
Hey, that's all right. It's all right to have a hobby.
Exactly. That's what I call it, a hobby.
So, what are your future plans? Like, what? Because I mean, you seem like you're an entrepreneur to me, and
Mhm.
that this going to college thing is kind of just a blip in your radar. I can see you going out and just blowing the U.S. up with Dalton Willmann. So, what is it that you do plan on doing after school, after college?
I mean, like I told you, get a job with like a Nike or Adidas or like a sports team, and the reason I want to go to Indianapolis is to see what the big city life is like. experience that. And then hopefully after I graduate, I'm able to get in with a brand or sports team. And then, I mean, I'd love to move away. I've talked about living in Alabama before. I really like it down there. But, I just want to travel the world. I might have to spend a few years here and a few years there. But I'd really love doing that kind of stuff, traveling around.
Yeah, traveling's always fun. I actually had a friend of mine after he got out of the military. He spent it was like 3 years or 2 or 3 years, and he was homeless.
Oh,
lived
wow.
out of he lived out of either his car or old Marine Corps buddies, and he just went and traveled to everybody's house for
Hmm.
a couple of years before he finally said, "All right, it's time to go back to Boston, settle down, and start figuring out what I want to do with the rest of my life." So is that the kind of traveling that you want to do, or is it something like I want to go here and live here for a couple years and see what it's like and see if I want to settle down here?
Yeah, I think that's what it's like because, like, my sister lives in Alabama, so I've gone down there to experience it. I kind of know what it's like. But at the same time, I know that, like, Colorado is a great place to live, maybe even Eugene, Oregon. I know it rains a lot there, but it'd be really cool to try it out there. Maybe one of the Carolinas, just, kind of see what it's like in each one and then pick a place to settle down
Right on. So usually when people talk about leaving Indiana, they usually talk about going somewhere where it's warmer and not as much snow, but that's not what you're looking for.
I mean, somewhat it is, but at the same time, Colorado has a few nice months, and I do like the snow. I'm not one of those guys that wants to completely get away from the winter time.
Just wait till you get older.
Well, I might have to move again when I get older.
Hey, so how I know you said earlier that you still been working out and everything, but how has this coronavirus and the stay at home order really affected you and your senior year? We've talked about everything getting cut short and you having to do
Mhm.
online classes, but how has it affected you, like your psyche? Has it have you had days where you're just like, man, I can't wait for this to get over with, or um, you know, so, stuff like that. How has it affected you?
Yeah, so it was okay for about the first, 3 weeks and stuff. Because the first 2 weeks they just gave it to us like a spring break, and that third week was like, the first week of online learning. And it was okay at first. It was like, okay, I'm still going here working out, I'm still doing this. It was okay, it was, steadily going. And then at the end of that third week I just kind of hit a wall, and I had to talk with my girlfriend, had to talk with my mom, and I was just, I kind of had like a mental breakdown, just because I was losing the social interaction of being with my friends. You take advantage of that going to school, your job. You don't realize how much you value that social interaction until it's gone. And I just had to talk with them, let some stuff out, and try to stay positive. And I like think that I'm a pretty positive guy. So then to let all that stuff out and then reset my focus. Okay, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Everybody else is going through this. We just got to get through it. It's going to end sometime. It can't last forever, and then we're going to go back to
Boy, you're a lot older than your age.
normal.
Your wisdom is just unreal, man. Just unreal.
Thank
I
you.
love it. That has to be a sign of good parenting.
Oh yeah, my mom and Chief, they do a great job.
Yeah, they seem like they do. Well, hey, man, I don't want to keep you too long. So, is there anything that you want to tell everybody before we go?
Just stay home. We're gonna get through this stuff eventually. And I need to give a shout out to the people that I always forgot to give one to on your channel after the games. Shout out! I hope Dave and Patty Montgomery, you get to see this. I hope you guys are watching. I love you guys. Thanks for everything you've done for me.
Right on, buddy. Right on. Hey, good talking to you. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me on, Steve.
Yep, absolutely, man.